This week's Parsha is Parashat Balak. It tells the magical story of King Balak, his magician Balaam, and Balaam's talking donkey. The culmination of this Parsha is Balaam's 3 blessings given to Bnei Israel, which are given in place of the curses that he had originally intended to deliver. What is striking about Parashat Balak is that it's the only Parsha following the beginning of the Abraham narrative that takes place outside of the perspective of Bnei Israel. Rather than Bnei Israel being the primary characters in the story, they're relegated to secondary, seen only from the outside, through the eyes of both Balak and Balaam. The characteristics described by Balak and Balaam are very, very striking in this light. At first, Bnei Israel is described as terrifying in their eyes. Vayagar Moab mipnei ha'am me'od, ki ravu, vayakatz Moab mipnei Bnei Israel. And Moab was very afraid of the people because they were many, and Moab was overcome with fear because of Bnei Israel. The language here mirrors what Paro had told the people about Bnei Israel at the beginning of Sefer Shmot, that the nation was too large and therefore might overpower them. Thinking of who the people of Bnei Israel actually are in this moment, this seems like a strange choice to be so afraid of them. Even if they are large, can't we assume that Moab is more powerful? Moab is an established kingdom with designated boundaries and presumably a standing army. On the other hand, Bnei Israel has been wandering somewhat aimlessly through the Midbar, which means they're likely sort of a ragamuffin bunch by now. Additionally, only 2 parshiot ago, in the aftermath of the Meraglim, Bnei Israel was hit by a terrible plague and condemned to die in the Midbar. Hardly a ringing endorsement of their strength or the notion that God is on their side. Meanwhile, in last week's Parsha, Chukat, Moshe is punished for striking the rock and told that he will not be allowed to enter the land with the people. Therefore, this is truly a people that is lost, literally facing the extinction of an entire generation as it wanders aimlessly. But if this is the case, why is Balak so afraid of Bnei Israel? Why does he feel the need to send Balaam to curse them when it seems that they should be easily defeated? And what is the value for us when reading the Torah in understanding how Bnei Israel is perceived from the outside? I think the answer can come from the brachot that Balaam offers the people. The outsider perspective, highlighted in these brachot, shows not how Bnei Israel exists right now, but who they have the potential to become as a nation. As Balaam tells Balak, Lo ish el v'chazev, uben adam v'yichanem, Hu amar v'lo ya'aseh v'diber v'lo yikamena. God is not a man that he should lie, nor is he the son of man that he repents. That which he has said, will he not do it? That which he has spoken, will he not uphold? So God's plan is set for the people, and God will not stray from that plan. But perhaps that plan is for curses. Perhaps Bnei Israel deserves to be cursed in the eyes of God. But instead, Balaam's words become a promise that the opposite is true. Despite all that Bnei Israel has been through, God will continue to bestow blessings upon them, if not because of who they are, then because of who they have the potential to become. As Balaam says in his first blessing, Lo hibit aven beYaakov, v'lo ra'a amal b'Yisrael, Hashem Elokav imo, u'tzurat melech bo. None has beheld sin in Yaakov, and none has seen perverseness in Yisrael. Hashem, his God, is with him, and the shouting for the king is among them. This image of the people is mostly striking for its inaccuracy. Who are these people without sin? Who are these people who are calling out for God in a show of constant faith that never wavers? How can Balaam say there is never any perverseness in Israel when, at the end of this very Parsha, the women of Moab enter the camp of Bnei Israel to seduce the men and entice them to idolatry? That is why it might be helpful to instead see these blessings as an assertion of Bnei Israel's potential. The Bnei Israel of the Midbar is not the Bnei Israel at their best. They waver in their faith of God, they are idolatrous, they are rebellious, they turn on their leaders, and their leader is even accused of betraying God. We have to wonder if these are really the people who merit to be God's chosen ones. However, the outside perspective of Parashat Balak is a reminder that Bnei Israel can still be seen as strong. They don't have to be the people they are right now. They can become strong and God-fearing, a people who are blessed and who are a source of blessings. Shabbat Shalom.